Hello, it is Foundation Friday, November 18th, 2022. Steve Sipress here, tail end of a gorgeous sunset going on behind me. Had some internet connectivity issues. Ironically, have trouble getting cell phone service in my own home. And our internet also up here in the mountains, sometimes not great. So we missed some of those clouds. Were all orange and purple and yellow just a couple of minutes ago, but still catching the tail end of it down there on the horizon. Anyway, it is Foundation Friday, and we are on to another in our multi-part series on the fantastic foundational book, The Magic of Thinking Big, by Dr. David J. Schwartz, written about 60 years ago, and timeless advice, foundational for anyone who wants to succeed in business or in life in general. And we are in Chapter 9, Think Right Toward People. Dr. Schwartz lets us know that about the simplest formula for thinking right towards people is one you can put to work. Here it is. Just treat customers like as if they were guests in your own home. And he got that quote from an entrepreneur who was known as the Appliance King of Chicago at the time. Dr. Schwartz teaches us that this technique works outside of your business as well. Substitute the word employees for customers. So instead, you start saying employees should be treated like guests in my own home, and so on and so on. So give first-class treatment to your employees, and you'll get first-class cooperation, first-class output. Think first-class about everyone around you, and you'll receive first-class results in return. And then he tells a story, and we don't have to go into the positives. I'm sure you can understand the positives of thinking right towards people. I discussed it last week a little bit. That's been one of my, I would say, the keys to my success over the years as a consultant helping business owners make money is I genuinely, absolutely love entrepreneurs. I love small business owners. And so I love to help them. I love to see them succeed. I love to help them fight against everything that is up against them, big business, big government, regulations. Last 2.5 years, lockdowns, shutdowns, arbitrary anti-scientific rules and regulations and whatever comes at them. Competition, inflation, recession like we're in now. I mean, there's always something coming up against entrepreneurs and business owners, and I have just made it my life's calling. I just love to help business owners overcome them. I am still in the trenches. I own my own businesses. I have dating back almost 40 years now. And so I have always paid attention and studied experts and paid big money and traveled all over and read all the books and gone through all the programs and gotten the coaching and the masterminding and the consulting and always staying on top of successful strategies to overcome adversity for small business owners. And I love to share that. You know, I say it often. My mom was a school teacher and she taught us, my sister and I growing up, that we had an obligation. Whenever you learn something, you have an obligation to teach it to someone else. So I just love that. So I love teaching other small business owners and entrepreneurs how to beat the odds and how to succeed. And I believe that comes shining through. I've been told it over and over. Steve, you treat your business, our business, as if it's your own. You're the first rep that came in here that we actually feel really cared about our business, blah, blah, blah. Comes shining through. That's the point Dr. Schwartz is making in this chapter. And then he tells a story about losing a big contract because of thinking negative towards people. And I was remembering it before I pressed the start button here. Let's see, personal. Oh yeah, I can tell you a personal story. My first multi-million-dollar business that I started when I was in my last year of law school, I turned my hobby. And man, I used to get upset. Now this, I had graduated law school and, had no job, had no money. Took the bar exam. I don't know why. I never wanted to be a lawyer. But, well, I do know why. I mean, because everyone was like, you might as well take it now. You're never going to know the stuff better than now. It's going to, all the knowledge is going to seep out of your head little by little. Might as well take it now. And then if you ever do want to be a lawyer. Okay, so I took the bar exam. And while I was waiting for the results, we're back. So while I was waiting for the results, I moved back in with my mom. And my mom overheard me while I was starting up now my first business of my own, full-time real business. And I would be on the phone, I was doing everything myself. So I'd be on the phone with customers doing my version of customer service, the worst customer service there was. I would get real frustrated when customers weren't following directions and had, questions and were confused over how to do something simple. And my mom would overhear me go, "Why do you talk to your customers like that?" I get all frustrated, slam down, what an idiot, and as Dr. Schwartz teaches, it was 5 years before somebody handed me this book. Thankfully, I needed it, and this is one of the reasons. That not thinking right towards my own customers had to stunt the growth of the company. The company doubled over and over, kept doubling, grew very quickly into the largest company of its kind in the industry in just 3 years. So grew fast, but I got to wonder, after I read this book, I was like, man, and others, I was like, man, all the mistakes I made and what I could have done to really get that thing going, I really messed up. And that was one of the ways. And so, I then, when I read this book, I looked back and I said, you know what? Of course. And now I realize anytime the customers are not, or your clients, patients, members, whoever they are to you, are not following your directions, it's not their fault. It's not because they're stupid or they can't follow directions or they won't take the time to or whatever excuse you have. It's your fault. I realized it was my fault that my directions weren't clear enough. They weren't simple enough. The systems weren't easy enough for them to implement. That all the regulations or the rules or the this or that was not put out simply enough by me. I took full personal responsibility. So now, anytime a client doesn't follow directions, I'm like, I'm sorry for the confusion I caused. Let me rewrite that and simplify it. And let me go change it. And let me make a video about it. And let me, put that into, I teach my clients to do the same thing. Anytime people are asking you a question, put that on your frequently asked questions page, make a video up about it, hit the nail on the head, overcome that and explain that before somebody has to go to the customer service page or call you or ask about it. So every time someone asks a question and has trouble with something, it's not the customer or the client or the patient or the member's fault. It's your fault. Not that it matters, but whatever, fix it and clear it up and make it simpler and make it easier for all customers. And then proactively write out an explanation of how a customer cannot have trouble with this. Makes sense? Now you're still going to get calls, you're still going to get issues. But I just changed my thinking right there and then forever, thankfully, thanks to this book and this chapter. And what we're talking about right here is anytime customer, client, or patient or member, anyone that I'm dealing with, is confused over anything that they're, quote, supposed to do as a customer or client or a patient or a member of mine, that's my fault. I got to make it simple. I got to make it clearer. I got to think right towards people, right? Then people will respond properly towards you and you'll have less stress. You'll have an easier time in your business. You'll make more money. You'll have more fun. You'll enjoy yourself more. Why not? Why would you want to run a business and be frustrated and miserable as I was when I first ran mine? Anyway, talk about somebody who's an expert in what to do to run and grow successful businesses. Bob Donnellis here. Great seeing you, Bob. That'll do it for this portion of the fantastic foundational book, The Magic of Thinking Big, by Dr. David J. Schwartz. Anyone who tuned in late, I am about 1 foot away from my house because I was losing internet connection when I was 8 feet away from the door to my house. Go figure. But beautiful sunset still going on behind me in the background. Hope you're enjoying that. Hope you're enjoying whatever's going on, your part of the world, wherever you are. Terrible lighting here, but as I said, I'll take the connection over the terrible lighting. But I will end for today. My pleasure, Bob. Always great seeing you. And I will be back here again with you tomorrow on social media Saturday, and we'll be back next Friday. I think it's the day after Thanksgiving here in the U.S., with another in our multi-part series on the fantastic foundational book, The Magic of Thinking Big, by Dr. David J. Schwartz. Go out and get a copy and give a copy to everyone you really care about in your life. Catch you tomorrow. Thanks for being here today. Over and out. Bye-bye.